Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well today. I see a lot of names that I recognize, but there are a few that I don't recognize. So I'm just going to give a 2-minute overview of our Oracle service line and our Oracle business here at Mastech. So just so people understand, Mastech has been a company that's been around 40 years or so. The Oracle service line that I come from, but also Herschel that's on the call comes from, are from the acquisition of Evasys. And Evasys has been a company that was focused in Oracle for well more than 16 years at the time of acquisition. And that acquisition happened about 3 years ago. So if you're not familiar with the name Mastech, you should be familiar with the name of Evasys. And if this is all new to you, here's a good overview of what we've done. This isn't our first rodeo. We've been in the Oracle ecosystem for quite a while. Me, myself, I've been implementing Oracle applications for 25 years. So I know the ins and outs of the implementations. As far as our Oracle practice goes, we've got well over 1,400 Oracle Cloud customers globally, and that number continues to grow. And individually, you can see across the areas that we have the number of customers. So we've got 357 plus ERP customers, 900 plus HCM customers. And as a company, we're about 6,000 employees and global. About half of those are dedicated towards Oracle. And you can see through these numbers that we're going to continue to grow. So as far as what some of the advisory firms say about us, so we've got Everest Group, says we're the top 5 globally. And they put us in the same categories as Deloitte and Accenture and Cognizant and Infosys. The Gartner Group has put us into a ranking as well. So Oracle tells us there's 25,000 partners globally. The top 19 are sitting here in the Gartner quadrant, and they've classified us as a niche player. And they only classify us as a niche player because we're Oracle only on the back end. So within our quadrant, we've done quite well. So I'm going to turn it over to Herschel as we get into the meat of this and we talk about 2x ARR, and then I'll come back and talk about the case study. So Herschel, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rick. Good afternoon, good morning, everyone. So a 2x ARR, a few of you, must be familiar with these terms, right? We introduced this offering specifically around Q4 last year, right, to help Oracle close the business and make sure, right, that you folks don't lose on the price of the implementation, right? So that's what we are bringing back again, right? It's your Q4. We are also closing our year in this month, and we want to make sure that we basically help you close as many deals as possible and make sure that you do not lose on the implementation price. So what's different this time, right? So we have launched this last year. Now we have refined this further because compared to last year, a lot of things have changed. Our implementation approach has changed. The methodology has changed. The way we drive the AI efficiency in the program has changed. So basically, this is something to make sure that customer gets benefit of, but we are going to follow the best practices approach, and it's going to be an AI driven approach, which I'll talk about in the next slide. If you see here, right, we are not restricting our scope by, let's say, X number of reports or X number of integrations, because each customer would have different requirements. So 5 custom reports or 5 integrations may not suffice for someone, right? Or some customers. So that way we are not restricting it by them. And one of the reason why we are able to do that is because in our implementation approach, we have introduced AI where we are able to leverage a lot of automation in terms of developing those integration and reports. We are going to create a standardized enterprise structure for the customer. So that way we want to make sure that while they follow the best practices, there is a single enterprise structure for all their legal entities. One thing again that we have introduced this time is making sure that they start using the embedded Oracle AI, right? So it's not just about AI infused the implementation approach, but making sure that whatever AI capabilities that Oracle is introducing in the application, we basically, ask them to use it, right? We show them the benefit, because a lot of time what we have seen, while Oracle is keep releasing the functionalities, the implementations are still being done in a standard way. uh, so that's what we are going to basically, make sure that we implement. At the same time, we are also offering one custom AI use case for the customer, right? So Oracle has a lot of use cases, but at the same time, let's say if customer wants to explore this further with their custom use case, we are going to develop it for free uh, for that customer. All the data migrations we are going to include in the scope, as well as from the training standpoint, we are going to deliver key user and the system admin training. Now, if you see the scope, right, this is not a fixed scope, right? We are going to deliver we are going to deliver all the deliverables that come along with this implementation, right? It's not a rapid implementation by any means. What we are able to do is we are able to reduce the timeline because we are introducing a lot of AI component as part of our implementation, like generation of user guide, right? We have automated almost 80% of user guide being generated automatically from 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 the RAI tool. Similarly, report development, again, automated from the AI tool. So the implementation is going to start from 16 weeks, depending upon the complexity but complexity uh, of the customer, and probably the combination of modules. The timeline would change, but that's what it's going to start from. And each implementation will be followed by 4 weeks of hypercare, right? So it's not that we are kind of going away after the implementation. And the price is going to be 2x from your ARR list price. So I think I saw a question. So yes, you are reading it right. It's from the list price and not from the discounted price. But again, that's something which we can work out on the opportunity to opportunity basis. Yeah, Rick, you want
Yeah.
to?
Yeah, and on that note, because I think it's really important to understand, because Oracle has the ability to lower their software price dramatically in some cases. So, if it gets down to 70% discount, 80% discount, it becomes really difficult for us to try and compete at that 2x ARR. But I will say this, that in a lot of cases where there was heavily discounted by Oracle, and we'll talk about that in the use case, we still actually were able to get very close to that 2x ARR. Okay, so we can get pretty darn aggressive because this is for us as it is you in a very important part of the year. So we don't want you to lose out on price, and we'll do everything we can. We've got carte blanche from leadership here that we won't lose on price. And I just wanted to add on this because when last year we did the 2x ARR, and then we reformatted it this year because of the success of last year. And I presented it to Andrew Bauer, which is head of alliances for growth and manufacturing at Akari. And he said, I really like what you guys are doing here because there's other partners that are doing these kind of promotions that are doing things at a very low price. But the things that you're bringing to it is, one, you're not just breaking in. This isn't your break in to try and do this, because a lot of partners out there that are doing these low prices, they're buying the business and they're doing it very inexpensively to buy that business. And that's because they don't have references. And he said, you've got references. We win because of your references that you got. And also, you bring value to opportunities. We don't bring you in strictly for price. We bring you in because you help us close the business. So last year and the year before, we really focused on bringing that value, but also helping you to close that business. And I think with the opportunities that we closed this year, up and to date, we've always brought that value. So it's not strictly we're just bringing marginal players in. And we'll talk a little bit about, how we're able to do this, because we're not doing this because we're doing it 100% offshore. Absolutely not. That brings no value to the customer. The very least we'll do is 80% offshore, 20% onshore, with the solution architects being onshore, with the PMs being onshore, to make sure that there is that hands-on in the office approach to things. And we're not also bringing in our B team, to make to get at 2x ARR. We're still delivering quality throughout. So want to make sure everybody understands that we're not bringing in, the freshers from university to deliver this. Absolutely not. We're bringing in our best people, but because of what we're doing with AI, we're actually able to be a bit more competitive. So before I go to the next slide, which is going to be the use case, Herschel, is there anything on this slide that we haven't covered?
No, I think you covered it pretty well, so we're good here.
Okay, perfect. All right, so here's a case study. Fluidmaster, they're a manufacturing company in Southern California. And this was a HCM opportunity, direct compete with Workday. And this was a hard one because the CHRO wanted Workday, absolutely wanted Workday. And they were on JD Edwards, so the CIO wanted Oracle. And what we had to do on this is, because it was going to be a global implementation. As a matter of fact, we actually kicked off the project in our offices in London for the customer, because they had about 2/3 of their user base in Europe. But what we had to do with this to compete with Workday is we had to bring them, a lot of our analytics into it. But at the end, the CIO said, to bring it out to Workday, you have to be close to that 2x ARR. And we actually beat 2x ARR to come in and win it against Workday. And now they're live and they're referenceable. It's been quality. It's been a real quality implementation. Okay. So happy to share this and a couple other use cases we have for 2x ARR when you get an opportunity. When you speak to my team in some of these, feel free to ask for those 2x ARR references. So we're just going to jump into now AI and how we're using AI to, one, be more competitive, but be more efficient. So I'll turn it back over to Herschel.
Yeah. Thanks, Rick. So I talked about the approach, right? So before AI, right, our implementation approach was Adopt, right? So we used to follow Adopt methodology, where the focus is making sure that customer adopt the best practices. We guide them through the best practices, and we do not customize the application, right? So we continue doing that, but what we have added on top of it is AI. And AI in different sense, right? In different phases, we leverage AI in different ways. So it has an advisory phase, right? So in advisory phase, which is more focused on giving them recommendation on the best practices, asking the right questions, right? So you see, right, lot of activities are highlighted in blue, and then future releases are highlighted in kind of orangish. So the blue ones are already we have started using. I think we are on release 3. This is a bit older slide, but I still want to use this because it's pretty much simpler. So what we have done is, right, we have started producing the questionnaires, the presentation using this tool. Now, if you see, right, what we have used is we have used the widely accepted LLM models, right? So we are using let's say Llama, we are using Cohere, we are using let's say Copilot. On top of it, we have also introduced, right, Mastex repository of different industry or 1400 projects or customers that we have delivered. And because of that, right, the kind of questionnaires it is popping out, right, or the kind of presentation that we are getting is very customer specific, right, or industry specific. So the way we are introducing or interacting with the customer is not by just talking about the standard best practices. We are bringing in the the industry flavor, right? We are asking the right question, right? We are making sure that while we talk about the best practices, we also talk about the industry best practices, right? Because sometimes the best practices also differ from industry to industry. So all these are coming pretty handy, and we don't need to spend weeks to create this, right? This is something it's already available, and our team has started leveraging it. And because we have started doing it right across the implementation phase, uh, we are able to reduce the timeline. At the same time, we are also able to optimize the way we deliver, right? The effort in which we deliver, and then have started passing on that benefit to the customer. And that's where, right, when Rick said we are not doing this with our B team, we are not doing this completely offshore. We are doing this the same way. It's just that since we have changed the way we deliver, we are able to bring this efficiency in and pass on these efficiencies to our customers. So again, and followed by this, what we have is the different use cases within the application, as well as how we are doing this in the implementation. But again, this is we just wanted to give you a perspective that how we are doing it to make sure that again, the core of this is going to be customer. We are going to make sure that the customer is successful, because with their success, it is going to be our success. So just want to make sure that this is not coming across as a fixed scope offering. This is a full-blown implementation approach with an AI-driven approach. Rick?
And I also wanted to share with you on this, because we've been asked this in the past, is, how much does Adopt.AI improve efficiencies and implementation cycle and efforts? We're but based, really depends on modules and whatnot that it is, but we're averaging between 10 to 20% efficiencies to customers. So that's the type of efforts we're able to take out of the project and then pass along that savings to the customer. So again, it's and this is just from release 1. So, we're going to have more releases that you see the shaded areas for future releases, where we'll be able to bring more efficiencies in and be more competitive. So this is going to continue for a while, and you're going to see more and more come from it. We're getting in some questions here. Okay, that's from Herschel. All right, so we've gotten the next few slides. Like I said, we wanted to make this short and sweet, get back to your day, give you guys an overview. Let's engage with customers. Let's talk about specific situations. We don't want you to lose. We've oftentimes are brought in when there's already partners in there that are possibly too expensive, or they're not bringing enough value or references. If that's what it is, we're happy to engage. And there's no commitment on either side. Now, we do have a couple of use cases that we have created for AI. So we've got use cases that are in the finance area. We've got it in pretty much all the modules. So this is FinMate, Gen AI Financial Insights platform. I'm not sure if you guys have time for this, but what we'll do is we'll send out the deck, and then you'll be able to look at some of these other use cases. So that's what we have for you all today. Anybody have any questions? Anything else that we can answer for you? Feel free to put it into the chat, or you can come off of mute and you can answer that as well. While we're typing, there's descriptions of some of it here. We presented a couple of these to our customers install base, and they were pretty excited. You can go ahead. So Neil has reached out. Neil, reach out to me. I'm in the email address. I'll put my email address actually in here, and then I'll point you to the right people within MasTech to engage with. And we'll make sure to get you aligned with, because we have, as you're aligned by industry, we're also aligned by industry, and I want to make sure you're aligned with the right people that have the right references, and that'll bring value to your customers. Okay. All right. Thank you all. Thank you all very much. We'll let you get back to your day. My team will be reaching out to everybody that's attended and see how we can help. We're also going to be having one more session. It was by popular demand. We're going to have one next week, Tuesday, at the same time. So if you have any colleagues that missed this session and want to attend, they'll be getting a invitation to join us next week. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you all for your time. Bye-bye.